All right. See if anyone even shows up to this. I'm probably going to end up just sitting here talking to myself. We got one thumbs up. That was actually me on one of my other accounts earlier just to make myself look cool. I do that a lot. Someone's here. Who's here? Ike, what's up, dude? It's good to see you, man. Did you work on EHE a little bit? Man, I recorded that EHE tutorial so long ago. I forgot about it and I put it up today. What's up, Mike Brewer? What's up, buddy? Man, 5 people on here. I just always get so excited when people actually show up for these things. I literally thought I was probably just me sitting here talking to myself. No, Dylan, any talk is allowed here, excluding like completely inappropriate stuff and 9/11 conspiracies. Oh, we had 5. Now we only have 3. I already ran 2 people off. That sucks. Did someone leave because I said guitar talk is allowed on here? So what's everybody got going? I don't really have anything on tap to talk about today. I just had a little bit of, I have about 30, 45 minutes or so to kind of spare and just chat it up. I was looking up Super Bowl stuff. I'm going to do a episode soon. Ike, what's up, Mikey? Yeah, a new video, a new guitar video and a live chat, man. It's because I'm just bored tonight, which actually I've been really busy, which is weird. Ike, you got to restring your acoustic. You'd play on your electric, but it's in D standard. No, I'm going to tune up. Man, I've got to get an electric. I got to get an amp for my electric guitar. I've got to do it. Because, I debated doing a guitar chat tonight, but I had to put the EHE tutorial up. And so I did that, and I didn't want to like overload the guitar stuff, which doesn't matter because these basically just end up being all my buddies from the CMAC channel anyway. So, which is awesome. Totally fine by me. What do you want to talk about? I'm up for anything. Super Bowl, we've got the Chiefs and the Bucks. I was surprised to see the Bucks going. I know, Ike, I've almost got 100 followers on here. It's impressive, isn't it? That is actually more than what I had in the first few weeks of my guitar channel. So maybe that's a good sign. I don't know. Like I said, I like doing this for the fun of it. This is a ton of fun. A PV Viper VIP amp. Got it, Brewer. Do you know how much those are? Like the lowest end one? Because I'm really not going to spend much money. Just because I don't play my electric that much. So anyway, I had done an episode a few weeks ago and I picked like pretty much everyone. The only Chiefs were the only one that I got right, basically, going into now. But we're going into the Super Bowl. I'm going to go with the Chiefs for show. I'm not going to. The Bucks have got the GOAT for the time being until my boy Pat passes him up. What can I say, man? But I mean, Tom Brady is definitely the GOAT. You just know that Pat's my boy here at Texas Tech, so I'm never going to go against Pat. But yes, I mean, the fact that Tom Brady in the first year in the NFC gets an NFC championship and is going to the Super Bowl is fantastic. It's just awesome. I love it. Anybody have any good ghost, alien, paranormal activity going on in their lives? Let's see. Any good podcasts? Oh, that's right, Brewer. Tech versus Michigan once again. That is good. I like that. I did not even think about that. I was gonna say something. My brain went blank. Man, does anybody have any good podcast recommendations lately? I've been listening to a ton of like to the point where I'm just almost not listening to music, and I don't know why. I've just had this like love for podcasts lately, and seeing if anybody has any good ones. I like, of course, I like all the random stuff. I love Joe Rogan. Ear Biscuits. What's up, Geronimo? Ear Biscuits, is that a podcast? I'm assuming. Ike, before you moved a couple of months ago, you lived a mile away from Tech and you had to go to all their games. Wait, Ike? What? A mile away from Tech? What Tech? Brewer, old school Howard Stern. There you go. Geronimo, what is Ear Biscuits? Podcast Ear Biscuits. What is that? Just kind of like a Joe Rogan, kind of just all over the place, just cool, interesting stuff? Or I like, me being such a psychology nerd, I love Jordan Peterson. I love listening to Jordan Peterson's podcast. You guys changed my life in more ways than you can imagine. I really enjoy his podcast. And man, what else? How I built this with Guy Raz is a Guy Raz, whatever. That's a really good one. Oh, Ike, I was like, dude, you lived like 10 minutes away from me if you lived over by Tech. Telling life stories. That's awesome. Yeah, Geronimo. I listen to Jordan Peterson at least 2 or 3 times a day, just whether it's on YouTube or podcast or anything like that. Completely life-changing guy right there. He's been doing podcasts more with like interview style podcasts, as opposed to most of his old podcasts or some old streams of like speeches he gave or class lectures that he gave. But now, like, he interviewed, has anybody read Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey? I've heard really good stuff about that. He interviewed Matthew McConaughey about that book. But Brew, have I ever heard of Bill Hicks? No, who's Bill Hicks? But yeah, and Jordan Peterson, actually, I want to listen. So he does a little podcast with his daughter, and they interviewed Russell Brand, I think yesterday, or I think it came out yesterday or today, something like that. I really want to watch that. Bill Hicks. It sounds familiar, but Bill Hicks also sounds like any guy from Lubbock, Texas. Dylan, are you still on here? Did you have a guitar question? You asked that earlier, but Geronimo only recently got into him because of a buddy of yours. He's really growing on you. You just keep listening to it. It's like addictive to listen to him because he's easily the most intelligent. Whether you agree with him on everything or not, he always backs everything up with history, facts, and things that he's studied. He's just easily one of the most intellectual people that I've ever listened to in my entire life. People try and make him out to be a political figure, and he's not. He's not a political figure. He's just a really smart person. Yeah, Geronimo. Logical reasoning goes a long way. Yeah, absolutely. So Bill Hicks is an old school comedian, kind of like George Carlin. That's where I've heard of Bill Hicks before. I'm gonna have to check him out. Where do you listen? Does he have any kind of? I know, obviously, I guess you said he was a genius, so I'm assuming he's dead. So probably don't have a podcast. But do you look him up on YouTube and stuff like that? Hey, David, how's it going, man? Yeah, he was huge in Texas. Maybe that's why Bill Hicks just sounds really familiar to me. I've also gotten back into reading a lot lately. I'm reading a really interesting book called The Denial of Death by Ernest Becker. Now that is some deep psychology shit. Wow, Bill Hicks died in 1994 at 32 from pancreatic cancer. Wow. I did not know that. I was a big, as far as comedians go, I was a big Brian Regan fan there for a while when he really was kind of at his peak. If you've never watched Nick Swardson's stand-up stuff, it's hilarious. David, you just started reading Ready Player One. What is that? What's that about? I'm always up for book recommendations. I used to despise to read. And then all of a sudden here within the past, I don't know, a few years, man, I just am just addicted to reading. I think because I was there was a time period, and maybe y'all can relate. There was a time period where I was just totally addicted to media and the news and all that stuff. And man, once I figured out how brain rotting that garbage is, man, I just moved on to books and I love it. Okay, so it's a dystopian future type book. So is it kind of what was the name of that movie? I'm going completely. I've read the books. It was it's not Hunger Games. It's the one with like Dauntless and what in the world is the name of that? Makari, what's up? The movie Ready Player One is fantastic. Why have I not heard of this? I'm gonna have to look into that. Stephen King. See, I've gotten really big on this kick, this like non-fictional kick. And no, I haven't. Maze Runner is one of the ones I was thinking it was kind of related to this Ready Player One. Maze Runner, I thought it was going to be something similar to like Maze Runner. What, yeah, guys, is driving me crazy. What was the name of the book that was turned into a movie that Virginia Roth wrote? I can remember her name, but I can't remember the name of the movie with the factions, and somebody will say it here in a second. The Power of Habit. Power of Habit. Who wrote Power of Habit? I love stuff like that. Divergent. Thanks, guys. Divergent. Good grief. What's up, Tim? Mikhail, what's up? Thanks for at least stopping in and say hi, man. I appreciate it. Power of Habit. Mike, the Postman. Who's the Postman was a Postman was was that a movie or was it a book made into a movie? Mike, I can't remember. What's up, Celeste? Just sneaking in. Charles Duhigg wrote Power of Habit. I read, so not too long ago, I have it sitting over here somewhere. It is, hold on, let me go. I had it right here. Yes, this is a good one too. Very Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Joe Dispenza. It's fantastic. Lots of weird stuff, like just kind of crazy. He's very much a quantum physics, quantum mechanics type guy, and he is very, very smart guy, and a lot of cool stuff in that. If anybody's interested in that kind of stuff. Yeah, Mike. Postman. See, that's what I didn't remember if it was a book or not, but no, David asked if I've watched Queen's Gambit yet. No, but I've heard great. Is it really good? I've heard really good stuff about it. So when I started Peaky Blinders, I had already seen like the first 3 seasons a couple of years ago. Then stopped watching it for a little while. I just got busy. Then started at season 2 because I just kind of remembered season 1 was all right. So now I just started back at season 1. And then when I'm finished with season 1, I will check out Queen's Gambit because I've heard it's great. Geronimo. Yeah, existential vibe, yes. The book, that Denial of Death that I was reading by Ernest Becker, is getting into Kierkegaard. He's comparing Kierkegaard and Freud and how different they were, and how at the end of Freud's life, he was just trying to deny existentialism a little bit, which is really interesting. And basically, Becker is drawing the comparison, saying how right Kierkegaard was in his beliefs of existentialism, and how Freud was maybe always tried to deny it, and it didn't do a great job of it. It's kind of along those lines. It's super interesting. David Queen's Gambit is very good. I'm gonna have to check that out, because that was kind of one of the ones on the top of my list. You know, my wife and I there for a while got into The Crown. The Crown was really good, but we only watched I think the first 2 seasons of it. No, Ike, I haven't seen Unbreakable. Makari, hey, you can go, guys. Y'all can go off. So y'all can talk about. We can all talk about whatever. We don't have to stick with one thing. Sorry for going off topic. You just got done learning Cry Freedom. My hands feel sore. Man, Cry Freedom's a crazy little song to play, isn't it? It's very Dave, but not very Dave Matthews. It's very kind of the rhythm of the song and everything is just, it's a little bit, it's just very different, but love playing that. Let's see. Geronimo, I feel if you want to prevent having existential crisis, you should follow a religion or a cult. That is very true, Geronimo. And then subject change. And so that's why he was talking about Freud, Geronimo, just to follow up right there. That's why this guy was talking about Freud denying existentialism, denying not going down the path that Kierkegaard went down, because Kierkegaard was spiritual and he was a religious person studying psychoanalysis. He was, basically a psychoanalyst before psychoanalysts were a thing. And anyway, sorry, I'll move on because I'm probably boring y'all talking about that. Favorite food? Celeste says steak, always. Brewer. Ike, you're going steak too? Yeah, that's a great question, because it just depends on what mood I'm in. Does Chipotle just count as a food? I could just go for a Chipotle burrito anytime. Not really. I would say tacos. Gosh, I love tacos. Brewer pizza is the GOAT. Yeah, tacos. I'm going to go tacos all the way. Mike Beeks beef stroganoff. For real? That is a very interesting choice. It's funny. I like that though. Geronimo, you're going cheeseburger. That's valid. I think that's what I'm actually about to have for dinner. Yeah, Makari, Tex-Mex. For those of you that can't have Tex-Mex because you don't live in Texas, I feel sorry for you, because I love it. What is everyone's go-to breakfast choice? That's a good one. If I'm going healthy, I have this organic, like natural grain cereal that I go with. But most of the time, we have this breakfast burrito place here in Lubbock that is just amazing. That's right, Makari. It's lime. It's the best. I bet, I'm not lying, I bet I drink eight of these a day, probably. Mike, there is a Freebirds in Lubbock. There is a Freebirds in Lubbock, but actually it shut down during COVID. They closed down. Makari, you're drinking the same thing. It's so good. Oop, hold on. There we go. Sorry, I just lost all the comments there. Oh, Ike, yes, I've seen American Sniper. Fantastic. Fantastic. Celeste, yes, cheesecake is absolutely the best dessert ever, and we have the best cheesecake you could ever imagine. I'm serious because I'm obsessed with cheesecake, and I made sure that our recipe is just dead on. It's so good, so good. Um, Celeste, I don't eat breakfast, but eat bacon and eggs far too often. True. Yeah, Mike, I loved Freebirds. Freebirds was so for anybody who doesn't know in this area, I think Freebirds is pretty much still just kind of Texas, but um man, Freebirds they're really good burritos. I liked it because there were a lot more options than what Chipotle had. Geronimo, you said you need to go visit family out there, but Mrs. COVID took over the planet. Where are you right now? Are you talking about coming to Texas? Mike, you lived in Texas for a little bit. Where'd you live in Texas, Mike? Makari, what is my favorite Clint Eastwood movie? You know, it's funny because I actually like more of his recent movies than like his older Western stuff that my parents really like. Yeah, Brewer, it's because you've never had our cheesecake. Our cheesecake blows Cheesecake Factory out of the freaking water. Geronimo, you're in Cali. Gotcha. Man, Makari, let me think. My favorite Clint Eastwood movie. Oh man. I really liked Million Dollar Baby. I really liked oh man, what did he do? I enjoyed, let's see. I'm just gonna look it up and I will tell you. Clint Eastwood movies. And I will tell you. Did anyone see The Mule? I heard The Mule was pretty good. Gran Torino was pretty good. I wanted to see Richard Jewell. American Snipers, like I said, it's hard to beat. Oh, I didn't know that he directed Sully. Sully was good too. Probably the world could have probably done without Space Cowboys. I say that because I never saw it. 1517 to Paris. Of all those, I think I'm gonna go Million Dollar Baby for right now. Oh, Hacksaw. Wait, Hacksaw. No, Hacksaw Ridge. Hacksaw Ridge was Mel Gibson, or was it? Wasn't Hacksaw Ridge Mel Gibson? Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, Mike, even north of Conroe. So like Spring's kind of east of Conroe a little bit, isn't it? I had a good friend that lived in Spring, so we'd go down there a lot during the summer. Where would I want to travel? Where would I want to travel? Number one place. Take it easy, Geronimo. We'll see you later, bud. I'm gonna go. It's weird, but for some reason I think Scotland is probably my number one place. Australia, I would love to go to like New Zealand, kind of that area. Maybe like um Bora Bora, some place like that. But Spring is south of Conroe. Oh, Celeste, is that what I should start calling Geronimo's Peppers? I kind of like that better. Maybe I'll start calling him Peppers. I like that. Yes, Mike, Unforgiven. God forget. Clint Eastwood has done so many great movies. I forgot he did Unforgiven. Oh, the original Hacksaw was in '86 with Eastwood. I got you, Brewer. I did not know that. Gorge 2022, Mike, you going? What's going to happen with concerts? Let's talk about what's going to happen with concerts in 2021. Just masks everywhere? Or do you think everybody, like I said, I quit paying attention to news last year, so I don't really know what's going on with everything as far as COVID and what the popular thoughts are and what we should do. Yeah, Celeste. It's not looking good. New variants popping up. And like I said, I'm so COVIDed out and newsed out and having stuff shoved down my throat so much. I'm like, whatever. It has been a while since I've been to a concert, especially a Dave Matthews Band concert, which is crazy because I went for so many years in a row. See, so I had COVID. My whole family had COVID. So I'm like, hey, I'm good. You test me. Yeah, Makari. This is probably quote of the night, quote of 2020, maybe. I noticed that when I would pay attention to news constantly, it would make me have a more negative outlook. Exactly. That is why I just don't listen to the news. Don't listen to the news anymore. Got pretty fed up with it. So it was kind of politics and the news all at once, where I just went, this is completely wasting my life. Yeah, Brewer, that was kind of what I was sick. My wife lost her taste and smell for about 6 weeks. My son, and I think it just made him kind of tired. He was only 2. And then I just felt real fluey, like I was achy, tired, all that good stuff. It wasn't fun, but it affects everybody differently. So what are you supposed to do? Tim, you got a refund from the warehouse for your Dave Matthews Band tickets last year. You could have kept them. I thought somebody said you could have kept them for 21 rescheduled day, but I was thinking that's not happening either. Yeah, Brewer, I think I pretty much had the same. Sounds like the same as you. I mean, it felt exactly like the flu. I just had an ongoing headache. That was the headache got me for like a week. That was the thing that kind of that was a little bit different than when I've had the flu. Yeah, Celeste, you had it around Thanksgiving, sick for a week, lost your smell. Did you feel like physically bad, like tired, achy, or was it pretty much just kind of the smell was gone? Watched a lot of Netflix, yes. Yeah, Brewer, headaches. The headaches were the part for me that I was just like, man, this is different, but feel like, Brewer, you just slept. Let's see. So I've got probably about 10, 12 more minutes or whatever. It's only 6 of us on here, and I think we're all 6. Let's see, me, Brewer, Elizabeth, Makari, Tim, I think Mikhail left. Oh, Makari, you're quarantined from school because you might have COVID. Do you feel bad? Do you have any symptoms or anything, or were you just around people that tested positive? Brewer, other than brushing my teeth, I didn't shower or anything. I could barely stand. Ugh. Mine wasn't quite that bad. I was at least walking around my house, but I was just tired. I was really tired. Makari, you just have a headache, but Makari? Are you high school age or college? Ike, you start in-person school next week. Where do you live? Macari. Yeah, Macari, you're 16. Yeah. Ike, you're in Virginia. Man, that is crazy because everything around here has just been so normal. Okay, Ike, so you're basically in DC. Yeah, everything around here has been totally normal. Everybody wears masks around here, but Texas Tech is the school. I mean, school is normal. They all came back. The only difference is that spring break is not going to be is not going to happen. They're going to have that Friday off on spring break here, Virginia in the rain. But yeah, yeah, I mean, we have about 300,000 people in Lubbock. It's about 500,000 in the county, and everything's pretty much normal around here. Hospitals aren't like crazy or anything. We had a little bit of a spike back in December, but like public schools and everything are totally normal. So let's see. Okay, at least we're staying steady with 6 people here. That's amazing. Any good? Let's see. What did I miss anything good Netflix stuff on the episode that I did the other day? Did anybody disagree? I had Peaky Blinders, Ozark, Schitt's Creek. Because I had to throw Schitt's Creek in there because we had to get something funny in there, you know? Mike, I was in Texas over Christmas and New Year. In New Year's, grocery stores like hockey goalies in the 60s. Only 60% had masks. See, it's weird because it's here in Lubbock, like it's probably about 90% of people, I think, wear masks. Brewer, you're gonna love Peaky Blinders, man. You're freaking love it. It's so good. Macari, no, I've always wanted to get into the ranch, and I've always been watching something else. Mike, that was an underrated. I didn't give you as much credit as I should have about hockey goalies in the 60s. 60% had masks. But no, Macari, I haven't watched The Ranch. Do I need to? It's the one with Ashton Kutcher, right? Mike, I assume from the Northeast kind of freaked you out. Coming from the Northeast kind of freaked me out. Yeah, I mean, it's Texas. It's what we do. It's just what we do. We just don't care and just I don't know, whatever. Yes, I got into Stranger Things. I watched Stranger Things for a little while, and it was good stuff. Tim, thanks for hanging out, man. Good luck on EHE. It's super easy. It's fun to play. It's a lot of fun to play. Celeste, what is Future Man on Hulu? Because Stranger Things, I don't know why. It's not like I got off of it on purpose. I watched it for maybe, I think the first 2 seasons on Stranger Things, and then just maybe got off on to something else and really just forgot about it. I need to pick back up on that though, because that's one of the main ones that everybody keeps telling me is so good. Future Man on Hulu is directed by Seth Rogen. Time travel fantasy, video game type comedy. Definitely couldn't imagine anything by Seth Rogen being serious. So here's the subject change for you guys. It'll be a fun little kind of argument. This will be kind of a not argument, discussion session. Do you all, especially like Mike, you're up from the Northeast. I'm in Texas. Brewer, you're in Maryland. Brewer, you're in Maryland. Celeste, you're in Ohio, I think. So see sorry, I got backed up here. Makari, you started watching the EHE tutorial and you were singing along, didn't you? Makari, seriously, I was sitting there doing it. I was sitting there playing it, and it made me want to sing along to it. Just that little the EHE intro. That's funny. Yeah, Brewer, Maryland. That's what I thought. Okay, Mike, you're in Philly. I got you. So I want to know. This would be a fun little discussion because I want to do stuff like this. I don't want it to be like we can't discuss stuff because then it's going to get boring. We're going to talk about food and Netflix all the time. Does everyone think that the lockdowns? What are your thoughts on the lockdowns? Take it easy, Ike. You probably got out at the right time here. I want to know what people's thoughts are on the lockdowns. As in, like, do you think it has been done right? What would you do differently? This should be fun. People are dropping like flies out of here. Celeste, you think the US should lock down again? Why in the world would you think that? Because here's the thing, Celeste. You're going to lock everything down. It's the same thing that happened last year. We all locked down. If you lock down, you're just going to have to lock down forever. You can't lock down. There might be a strategic way to keep certain things, when people do these things a certain way. When you say, okay, 50%, you can be at 50%, 75%, masks are required. I understand that. But telling human beings that have to provide for their families, and like me being a small business owner, what am I supposed to do? And then you can't continue to get government funding because at what point does the government, BMAC, I'm so glad you're here. At what point does the government, the economy completely collapse? You can't sit here and keep giving money to people. That's been my big thing on this whole situation is I'm like, you just can't tell business owners and adults and people to just stay in their homes. Mike, if there was follow through on it and people's buy-in, could have helped. But again, guys, if people are going to get sick from this virus, and we couldn't. I mean, so are any of you trying to say that we should wait until there's because we have the vaccine. I'm just interested. And I'm not at all a conspiracy person. I'm just common sense. I'm just thinking that's common sense. Brewer, go back to bad, America. Your government is in control again. Here's American Gladiators. That's awesome. That's great, Brewer. Celeste, the spread is just ridiculous until vaccines are widely available. Anyone who's non-essential. Yeah. But see, and that's the thing, Celeste, the spread of any virus is ridiculous. Um, you know, the any type of flu, I mean, it's just, and how do we know that these vaccines are actually gonna be good enough to stop all of this? Brewer, I guess I really do need to watch Bill Hicks. BMAC, it will only take one person to slip through the cracks and warrant a lockdown, useless anyways. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I'm just I guess I'm missing why there's no middle ground. It's like Celeste, I'm saying, I mean, no, because you're going herd immunity. Celeste asked if I'm leaning more towards herd immunity. I'm saying herd immunity is here and lockdown is here. It's America. It's America now. And that's what drives me crazy is it's one side or the other on that's why I always say I'm like it's red, it's blue, there's no purple. It's conservative, it's liberal, there's no moderate. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, do we all need to just run out and make out with each other and spread it? No. But I think we've already seen that we were locked down. Then everybody kind of started to come back out, and that's when everybody caught it. And we're also talking about a virus that was detected in people in Italy in September. In Italy, in September of 2019. Nobody has talked about how long this virus has actually been around and what's been going on. I mean, we basically, in a city of 300,000 people, in a county of 500,000 people here in Lubbock, our mayor and our county commissioners and everybody said, okay, our governor said the same thing. He goes, okay, we're going to go to 75% in restaurants. Masks will be required. Be smart. So we all went out and did that. And it was spreading like crazy, guys. So I told y'all before in one of the guitar chats, we had crazy amounts of spread here in Lubbock. We had anywhere from 600 to 1,000 cases a day. And our hospitalizations were staying solid at about 200, between 200, I would say 225 to 275 people per day. And it just stayed right there. It's kind of the science of this. And I don't want to say herd immunity, Celeste. I'm just saying it's kind of the science of how these things work. You let everybody go out, and yeah, I mean, and then all of a sudden, I mean, we've flattened out, and it's just like I said, everybody's still free to go out and do their thing. And the deaths were still in the flu. What is 0.3% or whatever it does. What's up, Robert? Mike, lockdowns now would be silly. Scott, I agree. Mike, herd immunity is a terrible idea. Need to get to such a large number. It would be terrible if we just had a chicken point. Yeah, Mike, and that's what I'm saying. And that's the thing, Celeste. I'm saying no herd. I'm not saying like I said, let's not all go make out with each other. But let's just find a happy medium, which is I feel like is kind of what we did here in our city. And everybody was really smart about it. I mean, nobody, it's kind of what we've just been doing in each city in Texas, even the big metropolitan areas. And like I said, I mean, this is all coming from a small business restaurant owner who has a wife and a 3-year-old child. And it just killed us. I mean, it just absolutely killed us. I mean, I was out driving for DoorDash during the lockdown. So I was like, I got to make money. And so Brewer, I'm not even going to read that. It's just Brewer. So yeah, I like talking about that stuff though. I mean, because I feel like all of us are mature enough on here to just sit here and have a good discussion and not get our feelings hurt or anything. Robert, we were talking about reading. We were talking about good books earlier, actually. If anyone likes to read, just finished The Empire of the Summer Moon, all about the Comanche Indians. A lot of it took place near Lubbock. Man, there's so many awesome Indian stories out here from the Comanches and everything. Thank you, Brewer. Keep it child friendly from now on. Anyways, yeah, there's a ton of cool. I love that kind of history though too. But I do. That's the thing on these chats. I mean, like I said, I want to get into some good stuff. BMAC, civil discourse, man, the beauty of our country, and let's hope we can keep it. I agree. If we can't have these fun civil discussions about important things without everyone losing their minds, I mean, if we can't do that, what do we have? I mean, really. And that's what scares me sometimes with people that get so upset with what people are saying or what people are doing. There was I listened to a great podcast the other day with Jordan Peterson with a guy by the name of, I think it's Coleman Hughes. He's a black guy, wrote a book. He's 24 years old, wrote a book called Colorblind. And I'm really interested to look at that. It's about racism in America and how to deal with it intelligently. It's just, I want to read it. It just seems really interesting. So if anybody has time to go check out that podcast, it was just a few weeks ago. It was really good stuff. Yeah, Brewer nailed it there too. BMAC, he hit it there. That's the thing. The government can't have a simple conversation. Exactly. You're dead on. Robert, it seems like our leaders can't do this normal every day. People can still speak and listen. Again, I'm just so fed up with the way that politicians run this country. It's just gotten horrible. It's just gotten complete garbage. BMAC, Candace Owens' new book is incredible. Blackout, highly recommend it. Man, I saw something with her the other day that was really interesting. It was a really interesting interview. I can't remember who it was with. Brewer, it's their way or the Long Island Expressway. It really is. I mean, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Because I love talking to people about politics. I really do. Because I'm always going to go on common sense. I'm always going to try and explain myself as to why I think the way I do about certain things. Yeah, BMAC, I think it was Candace Owens on Joe Rogan. I think that's what it was. Because yeah, that's the thing. The thing is I feel like when you get these two extremes and people are arguing back and forth, it's never I mean, back it up with factual intelligence and without being demeaning to the other person. And that's really hard for people to do for some reason. Mike, it's like watching wrestling, our side versus the other. You can't see any good in the other. Yeah. But look at all, I mean, there's only 10 people on this chat, but we're all sitting here, I know all of us don't agree on all of it, but good grief, we can all sit here and say, well, maybe this is why it's this way. Read this book, think about this. I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, that's what this country is about. And boy, we have just taken over the, let's say, past 10 years, man, we have just taken a turn off into just hatred for each other. Sucks. Yeah, Brewer, the government thinks their beliefs are truth, and that's it. A belief. Yeah, exactly. Don't argue. Would not argue with that for a second, man. You nailed it with that. That is one thing I think we all can agree on, is that the government is not doing anything in the interest of us. I really don't think that. I don't care. I don't care if you're talking about Joe Biden or Donald Trump or anybody, and I just haven't seen an overwhelming, like one person that I'm like, they get it. They, I'm not gonna go into like people that I support, stuff like that. Celeste, listen to the song "Belief" by John Mayer. Fits it to a T. Mike, what is Mayor Pete? This says Mayor Pete. I don't know what that is. Who's Mayor? Buttigieg? Is that who Mayor Pete is? I also I also watched yeah, Buttigieg. That's Celeste. That's it. Yeah. Okay, that's what I was thinking. I watched actually watched Tulsi Gabbard on Joe Rogan the other day. She did a Joe Rogan interview. It was really good. But I mean, these kind of middle of the road people, everybody's just like, oh, they're stupid. I'm like, okay, BMAC, burritos or tacos? Tacos. I said earlier, I think you missed it, but I said tacos are my favorite food that have ever existed. Yeah, Makari. I wish there could be more level-headed folks in this country. I think and see, that's the point, is I think there are a ton of level-headed. I think the majority of this country are level-headed folks. But I think when you're in a position of power, I just feel like you just internally lose any normal brain function. You know what I mean? I feel like you get into so much power that you feel like you have so much control that you can do no wrong. Oh, okay, got you, Makari. You meant in the government. Okay, yeah. Brewer, check out Pink Floyd's album Animals. That sums it up. I can imagine what that's for. I think I've listened to that album before, actually. Pigs, sheep, dogs. Celeste, powerful people have so many other people influencing their decisions, and they need to keep them happy. A job I'd never want to have. I know. I don't disagree with that at all, Celeste. I really don't. And but it just sucks, because look at how it's affecting all of our lives. Whether you're a college student or a business owner, I mean, I just think that the control of the government is getting out of hand. And that is my biggest problem. And that is what I will always stand on, no matter what I talk about in politics. My base will always, my foundation of political beliefs will always be based on the fact of being an individual. And when you work to be a better individual, you are going to improve society by improving yourself. And that's what I'm always going to stand on. And when the government comes in and kind of says, well, guys, we know better than you on this. Says who? What? Because you got voted into office? I mean, it's like, on the Trump side of it, the guy's a billionaire. How does he relate to me or what I'm going through? On the other side of it, Joe Biden, the guy's been in politics for 50 years. How is he going to relate to anything that I'm doing? How is he going to relate to a college student struggling with loan debts? How is he going to relate to a small business owner who can't provide food for his family, has to go out and DoorDash at 38 years old? That just drives me crazy. Absolutely drives me crazy. Mike, Dogs is my go-to on Great Song, Great Value. Dogs. The Pink Floyd. So not to get on any kind of a soapbox, but yeah, BMAC, so perfect. The government for the people, by the people is no longer seeming as such. 1000%, man. 1000%. And that's what I'll always base my beliefs on in this country. I'm not going to base it on, well, he's a Democrat, so that's what I'm going to base my beliefs on, or he's a Republican, that's what I'm basing my beliefs on. No, base my beliefs on my own, on what I think is good and what I think is bad. So, BMAC, this will surprise you. My go-to karaoke song is 6 Foot, 7 Foot by Lil Wayne. Six foot, 7 foot by Lil Wayne. Excuse my charisma, vodka with the spritzer, swag it down. Pat, call my shit Patricia, young money militia, and I am the commissioner. You all stop me because the F is for finisher. I could keep going, but I'm not going to. We'll have to have a later night weekend chat. I'll throw back a whiskey or two, and I'll play 6 foot, 7 foot on my phone, and I will go to town because I can sing every word. BMAC just might have to fly to a Texas bar post-pandemic just for that. Yes, Celeste, members only. Mike, twist and shout and gin and juice. Celeste, yes, it's going to happen. I'm going to do it. I told y'all it wouldn't be anything you'd think it was. I'm sure y'all probably thought it was like the best of what's around, or no. If I'm going karaoke, I'm going all out. Guys, I got to call it tonight. I got to go give my son a bath. So yeah, we'll do another chat this week. I'm going to come out with another episode tomorrow or the next day or something. Celeste, Never Gonna Give You Up. That's the Rick Roll song, isn't it? And then Rick rolled with Never Gonna Give You Up. Is that right? Tell me. Anyways, I'm going to try and get another episode up. I'll talk a little Super Bowl. I'm going to look up some good alien stuff. I can't not have an episode can't have an episode without aliens, right? So me too, BMAC. BMAC, I'm going to text you and make sure you can be here next time so that you can back me up on politics. Take care, everybody. I'll see y'all later on this week.